Hi, this is Jeannie from Paws Acupuncture, and today I want to talk a little bit about the foods that exacerbate pain and inflammation in people and in animals. In my acupuncture practice, I think the most common complaint I get with both people and animals is pain. So let's talk about something that makes it worse, and please don't hate the messenger. Gluten. So gluten is a group of proteins found in wheat and barley and rye and triticale, and it makes pain worse. It makes a lot of things worse. And it's in almost everything that we eat. Research has shown that it may cause inflammation and exacerbate arthritis and symptoms in humans and in animals. People with celiac disease are at great risk for developing RA, rheumatoid arthritis, so they should stay away from gluten because it will make it worse. And it's also shown by research that gluten exacerbates fibromyalgia and autoimmune diseases. It makes it worse. So by cutting back on gluten, you will notice a difference in your body and your animal, your dog or cat's body, that they're not in as much pain. It takes a couple weeks for you to notice this as a human. I gave up gluten several years ago, and I have to say it's very difficult because it's in everything that we love, right? However, about after 2 weeks of not having gluten, I lost a lot of weight. My pain didn't completely disappear, but it went down from a level perhaps 9 to a level 5, and my joints were not as stiff in the morning when I got up. So it did make a big difference when I gave it up. So as I said, gluten is in almost everything, so it is very difficult to give up. It will be easier for you to help your dog or cat not eat gluten than it is for yourself. So things that contain gluten are bread, and this includes all kinds of bread, unless it's labeled gluten-free. So bread products like rolls and buns and bagels and biscuits and flour tortillas. Corn tortillas do not contain gluten unless they also have flour in them. Baked goods have gluten, donuts and cakes and cookies and things like that. Pizza crust, unless they're labeled gluten-free, have gluten in them. Pretzels have gluten in them. Pasta, unless it's labeled gluten-free, has gluten in it. Cereal, crackers, beer. Beer has gluten in it. Please don't give your dog beer, even if it's gluten-free, okay? Most gravies have gluten in it because gluten helps to thicken up the gravy. Soups may contain gluten as well because it helps, once again, thicken up the soup. And even soy sauce has gluten in it. The grains that have gluten in them are wheat, and wheat contains the most gluten of all the grains. And unfortunately, wheat is in everything that we love, right? Barley, rye, triticale, farina, spelt, kamut, and wheat berries all have gluten. Now, good news, uncontaminated oats are gluten-free. Woohoo! And quinoa is gluten-free, and it's also a great protein. So when you're looking at your dog's food or your cat's food, make sure that it doesn't have any of these grains in them because many pet foods will contain grains that have gluten in them. Also, pet treats also have gluten in them. So you have to be very careful, especially if your dog or cat has arthritis or any kind of pain, to make sure that the treats and food that you're feeding them don't have any gluten. Now, on a side note, I just want to say one thing. All dogs love pizza crust. And so if you want to have a pizza once in a while, do it. Life is too short. Okay? Even if you're in pain, one slice of pizza is not going to make you worse. And if you want to give your dog one pizza crust every couple weeks, it's not going to make it worse. Life is too short to stop enjoying everything. It's the people that live on pizza and pasta and give it to their dogs every day that I'm more concerned about. Another thing to be aware of, if you are eating gluten or giving it to your pets, is that it causes constipation. Now, every once in a while, there'll be that one person that has the opposite effect and may have diarrhea. But for the most part, gluten, especially that comes from wheat, will constipate people and pets. And it also puts weight on you and your pet. So if you're trying to lose weight or you're prone to constipation, you want to stay away from the gluten. So just to stress this point, if your dog or cat has arthritis or any kind of autoimmune problem or pain, or if they're just old, or any kind of intestinal problems, you definitely want to make sure that their treats are gluten-free. And there's so many dog treats out there that have gluten in them. You know, just the regular milk biscuits have gluten in them, and unfortunately the cheap cookies, you know. So you have to be careful when you read the ingredients, and you can find gluten-free cookies now online for dogs and cats. Also, unfortunately, the greenies, the dental treats for cats and dogs, have gluten in them. Now, I believe they are starting to make gluten-free or grain-free greenies, so you'll have to actually look carefully for those if this is something that you give your pet for their stinky breath or their teeth. So once again, it's very important. One of the things I stress with my dog patients, owners, is please stop feeding your dog gluten because it's going to make the pain worse. And we want to keep your pets out of pain as much as possible. For more information on holistic pet services, barking Zoom consultations, online classes, and books for people and pets, visit the Paws Acupuncture website, fourpawsacupuncture.com. Thanks so much for watching. Have a pawsome day.